Hi and welcome to all the racing enthusiasts joining us around the globe, and this will be for the refurbished Poly track on Wednesday the 7th of May, Hollywood Greyville Poly track, and looking forward to racing back on the Poly. It's been a while, and they've done all the hard work. They had gallops the other day, and I must say that I'm really looking forward to the Poly. I enjoy the Poly racing.
Yeah, nice to be back, Poly track racing, and of course you mentioned it's a new refurbished track, and to the racing fans out there, trust that you well. Looking forward to this race meeting back on the Poly track. Sheldon mentioned they've had gallops, and one can only say positive comments from trainers and jockeys about the new surface, and we'll see how it goes. First up on Wednesday, let's get straight into it. Race number 1. And in the first race, which is at 11:50, with the 9 races carded, wouldn't form part of the exotics. It's an open maiden over 1,400 meters. We'll bring up the field, have a look at some betting. Number 2, Cherry O Baby, 3.5 to 10 at the time of recording. 3, Long Street at 7 to 2. 4 is a scratching, and it's double figures the balance. Well, everything does point to this odds-on shot, and I'm not surprised that this filly is deep in the red. Her form lines are clearly noticeable, especially her last start, which was a first in the province, when second behind an above-average sort in Saxon Dynasty, who has since come out to win again, and Harun Al-Rashid has come out to win. So the form lines are there, and all she needs to do is just take to the surface, and I think she'll be very hard to oppose. Sheldon, the obvious horse, looks to be number 3, Long Street, who's had many chances. She's got a postage stamp on her back, 48.5 kgs. The young man has got to know her of late. That's Mpolisi Mbuto, nicely drawn at 3. Barring those 2 runners, there's really not much that one can recommend. So 2, Cherry O Baby to beat number 3, Long Street. That could be the exacta play there in race number 1.
Well, I can't disagree with you. I'm not going to fight with you in race number 1. It looks pretty straightforward. Cherry O Baby coming back from a 61-day absence. Dee's mentioned that Saxon Dynasty and 1 or 2 others have come through, and they look smart individuals. 56.5 on the back does look the one to beat, but number 3, Long Street, with 48.5 as a 4-year-old, looks quite well in, and that could be the exacta to play in race number 1.
Well, the exotics will begin in race number 2. It's the start of the bar pot. You need to get on the tote by 12:25. It's over 1,800 meters and open maiden. So the bar pot in race number 2. We bring up the field, have a look at some betting as a guide, and this is at the time of recording. Number 2, Silver Platter, who's got the blinkers on, draw 2. That's trading at 5 to 2. First up on the Poly track. Then we go to only one other horse, and that's number 12, Master Bomber, from the stable of Glenn Cotson. Will have the widest of the draws to overcome. Also first run on the Poly track, and blinkers on. That could be a very important equipment change, because I've watched this horse down in the Western Cape, and the blinkers could be the key to him winning or losing on Wednesday. This horse, Dumbledore, that beat Master Bomber last time out, did come out to win during the course of, 006, was a horse that's since been a subsequent winner. Gold Dust has won, and Green Planet has won from there as well. So that form line's looking good, but the wide draw will be a slight concern for me. Distance, no issue at all. And we mentioned in race number 1, we got an odds-on shot with Long Street as the possible exacta play. But in this race, I'd rather go the box route here, Sheldon. 12, Master Bomber, with that Western Cape form, and our local runner, number 2, Silver Platter, who goes first up on the Poly track. So instead of being confident with the odds-on shot, I'd rather go boxed here, numbers 2 and 12, and the joker of the pack for my money, between 2 runners, numbers 3 and 5.
Well, there we go, race number 2, and I'd just like to throw in one other runner, and that is number 4, Nakanjani, at around 25 to 1. Trying the 1800 for the first time. There could be some big improvement to come. Might just need one more run, but as you heard from Dees, he's given the numbers in race number 2, and it is an open maiden, so keep a very close eye on the weight structure, and hopefully therewith you find the winner. Rightio, moving on to race number 3, which will be opening leg at the Place Accumulator, and just having a look at the current guide as far as the betting goes. Hollywoodbets have number 1, Warzanawe at 33-10. Number 8, Juliet Tango at 7-2. Number 4, Pfizer at 9-2. And then number 6, One Path. And number 10, Flying Hafler at 6-1. 7-1, number 7, Caddy Zora. Let's kick off with number 1, Warzanawe. Now, a number of these horses are going to be racing on the poly track for the first time, and it's going to be a little bit of trial and error to work out the first 2 races to see if the speed's holding up, or they're coming from behind, and what type of tactics are going to be employed. And here's a horse, Warzanawe, from the best of the draw, going the 1800-meter trip. A horse who can be up there, and then it can just be just off the speed.
Yeah, she'll have the run of the race, but there will be a question that she'll have to answer, and that's going to have to be the distance, because she's best up to a mile thus far, and we'll see how she goes over 1800 meters. You have to put her in the play. Other runners to possibly consider, a number 4, Pfizer for Garrett Van Zyl. The apprentice has been good on this mare at her last 2 runs. And she did get that penalty for winning last time out, but no apprentice allowance this time round, so it's going to be a bit tougher for her. Cadizora for Matthew and Mike de Kock. You mentioned that, a few of these runners going on the surface for the first time. Here's another. She's been on the grass here at Hollywoodbets Greyville in both the runs in KZN. Again, Saxon Dynasty form line, so we'll keep an eye on race number 1 for that form line to come to the fore again. But that's Cherry O Baby. But I think back against the fillies and mares for Cadizora. Last 2 runs, she's found betting support. She's raced in open company. Back against her own sex, she could bounce back to her best. A very interesting runner has to be Julius Tango for Manu Pandaram. We welcome him to KZN. I've had a nice long chat with him. He's bringing some horses down for the season. Look at the average rating she's been racing against. 91, 83, 93, 87, 96, 94. I can go on. This is an average rating of 78 with the claim 2.5 on her back in Nirvan Nastelli. So Manu hasn't been shy to race her in stronger company, Sheldon. So this is a big drop in class for her. And all she needs is to get some luck from the draw. I think she'll be very competitive here. Number 8, Juliet Tango. So I'm not surprised that she's involved in the betting at around 7-2. So it looks like a tough start to the PA.
Tough start to the PA, but I'm strongly in your camp. I really like number 8, Juliet Tango. If you go back earlier, she ran behind Diani. That was on the poly in a 96 handicap, beaten just over 3 lengths. That was on the 6th of July, so the big race day on Hollywoodbets Durban July Day. Juliet Tango ran an absolute cracker. And you mentioned everything. You've given A to Z and back again. And at 7-2, I think if things map out for her, she's going to be tough to beat. She's tried and tested over the distance. She's run against a lot stronger, and she gets the claim off her back. So both these and I, number 8, Juliet Tango, that is the horse that we believe they all have to beat. And at 7-2, if things work out, they could end up in the winner's enclosure, and you could bag the money.
I'll be on to race number 4. It's a pick 6, the big one at 1340, 2,000 meters the distance. It's middle stakes. So at the time of recording, number 1, Johnny the Thief at 5-2, 2 kg's Delight at 8-1, 3 African Dusk is a horse that I am going to be including in all bets. I've jotted down the betting here, 20-1 unbelievably. 5 Blackberry Malt at 33-10. Then we got horse number 7, Field Marshal at 5-2, and 8 Twatwa Cut at 3-1. Well, I'm going to begin the betting off with a 20-1 shot here. African Dusk, Guard Puller's runner, because I've watched this individual's recent runs, and especially that last start. At any price, that form line has seen the following. 4 runners. I Salute You has won. Field Marshal has won. Masharane has run second and won the East Coast Cup over the weekend. There wasn't much that separated African Dusk and Field Marshal on that run as well. I think it was about, 2 lengths. Yeah, around 2 lengths that was between the two of them. And I think this horse will have every chance of reversing it. 20-1 versus Field Marshal at around 5-2 with a horse that has won on the poly track. I know he's a 5-time winner, only a 1-time winner on the poly track, but he's the type of horse that could spring a surprise here. At around 20-1, you're going to not get hurt, and it'll be a nice result for you in the pick 6. If I had to choose a horse as an outright choice and possibly a PA banker, it's going to be Blackberry Malt, who's been beaten by a stable companion his last 2 starts, called Holding Thumbs. And Holding Thumbs is a very exciting horse racing, fans. The other day we saw him gallop, that was on Saturday, before the official start of the KZN Champion season. He galloped here on the course and he put up a fantastic gallop. I actually had a chat with Sean Veal as well, so keep an eye on him. They want to qualify him for the Hollywoodbets Durbanville July, a horse called Holding Thumbs. So Blackberry Malt coming through from those form lines, I think will go well here. Once you start looking for other runners, then it absolutely becomes a field race, because it's just 7 runners that go to post. But an each way play for me here, Sheldon, in race number 4, 20 to 1, number 3, African Dust. But I think Blackberry Malt could be the right horse.
Yes, when you look at it face value, number 5, Blackberry Malt, that had a gallop here with, I think it was On My Honor the other day, a group horse from the Glenn Cotson stable, and they had a terrific gallop. And I promise you, on that workout, I think number 5, Blackberry Malt, in this type of company, once upon a time was a 102. And with number 4, Forgiveness Out, is now the best weighted horse, slowly just in front. And I believe the 7-2 Blackberry Malt, that's the value, is run behind Bingwa, is run behind Holding Thumbs, Mucha de Nero. And then African Dusk is a horse that's done me exceptionally well. I've caught him on the days when he's won at 6 to 1, 25 to 1. So Blackberry Malt to beat number 3, African Dusk. And that's going to be our play for race number 4. And hopefully they'll come first and second. And otherwise, let's see what happens with the swingers. As we step on the gas and we head on to race number 5, which is over a distance of 1,600 meters. And what I'm going to do is give you my selection straight off the bat. And let's go. First, I'm going to go with number 4, Eventador, who is currently trading at 7-2. And the reason being that Eventador loves the course. If you look at the poly wins, all 4 wins have been on the poly. Distance, 2 of his victories over the 1,600 meter trip, and then you put the 4 kgs in for JC Butters, and that brings number 4 Eventador right into the play. So 2 fourths in a row, the last 2 runs behind Gorgeous Dude and Pongola. It's been a while between drinks, but I'm going to go number 4 Eventador as my first selection. Now number 5, Count Marsh, back to the 1,600. If it was a 1,400, that would be my first selection. But the 1,600, that's going to make that individual my second selection. And these, when you look beyond these type of horses, you can make a case for a couple of runners, Numzan and 1 or 2 others. But I'm going numbers 4 and 5, and I'm holding thumbs.
Yeah, I think number 4, Eventador, could be the right horse in the race. 7-2, you mentioned. 1, Shining Bob, is at 7-2. 5, Count Marsh at 8-1. 6, Numzan is very short at 22-10 with no claim, carrying 64. 8, Elusive Bell at 7-1. And then a runner that I will be including in everything here is number 10, Porfirio, Kumaran Naidu's runner at 8-1. Simply loves the surface, as does Eventador. And I think with Muzieni, even though the horse is carrying 64 kgs against this type of field, if he can get over and possibly find himself, in the first half of the field, this horse can run all the way to the line. I remember, when Gavin Larena won on this individual, confidently ridden. That's the way I'd like to put it, because he needs a confident ride. His best races are handy, so the draw is a slight concern for me with number 10, Porfirio. But number 4, Eventador, Bo in Globo's stables in good form. He's got this horse knocking hard on the door. It's been over a year since the horse has won, but on the current form, I think could be the right horse here. Shining Bob will have followers from draw 1 after a very good effort last time out behind Animal Impact. So if you're looking for the form horses, they look to be number 1, Shining Bob, 4, Eventador, Numzan if you're not concerned about the weight, and then a horse like Porfirio. But a tough race to try and minimize your spend here in race number 5. What's your roving banker before we close things off?
My roving banker will be number 4, Eventador.
4, Eventador for Sheldon. I'm going to try and be a bit different here. I'm going to go number 10, Porfirio at 8-1. So maybe numbers 4 and 10 here as roving bankers in the first leg of the jackpot, which will begin at 14.15 a tough race to negotiate. Well, race number 6 will begin at 1450, and this will be jackpot 2 races 6, 7, 8, and 9. 1600 meters the distance. It's a B stakes. Lots of form to work around. There's some quality in the race. Horses that are bang in form. Some that love the poly track. A tough race, a competitive race, but one that you'll enjoy watching. Okay, we bring up the field. Number 1, Bristol Hercules, one of 2 runners for Matthew and Mike de Kock. That's at 3 to 1. The other is Shoefella, and that's trading at 12 to 1. I took down the betting for Shoefella because I don't think he's a 12 to 1 shot here. Look at his course and distance record, and his run back the other day after 6 months absent was an excellent effort. So keep an eye on Shoefella, and you can add Tristan Godden, who goes a wonderful record with him. 3 is a few dollars more. Number 4, Plaza Accord at 5 to 1. 5, Zinakele at 8 to 1. 6, French Flame at 4 to 1. Then we got 7, Sundance Kid at 7 to 1. And 8, Gentleman Joe at 3 to 1 shot. Maybe just short comments on each runner, Sheldon, before we just summarize. Bristol Hercules, first run on the poly, but looks to be in good shape.
Yes, number 1, Bristol Hercules, and number 2, Shoefella. They had their comeback run on the 27th of April. Bristol Hercules ran a good 4th behind Icy Blast, yet to run on the poly. Whereas number 2, Shoefella, is a poly specialist. So it's going to be quite interesting from that draw. Few dollars more, coming off a good second last time behind Winter Games. And then Plaza Accord for me is the 1600. Yeah, that's the question. That's
the question. Been winning over 1,400. Yeah, a few dollars more. Number 3, Versatile, anything from 1,400 to 1,900, but has been off for 3 months. Whether he needs it or not, the race will tell, but you can't leave him out at the surface. Plaza Accord going for 3 in a row, getting on well with Jabu Jacobs, who's 2 from 2 on the horse, but 1,600 meters. Now, here's a horse, Zinakele, who is a specialist on the surface. And that last start was beaten by Give Me Everything, who ran a blinder in the Phillies Guineas over the weekend, coming from last to run 4th. I think she could give the boys a run here.
These are the races that you've got to be so cautious of. It's a B stakes, and when you look at the best weighted column, the punters are still trying to wrap around the concept of the new stakes and the new weights and everything. Majority of the time, the best weighted horse comes out the filly or the mare. Sure. And Zinakele is a 94 ahead of Sundance Kid at a 90. So you look at it on black and white and paper, she looks to be a good thing and hard to beat. But when you go through the runners, it's not that simple.
Yeah. She's trading at 8 to 1. She'll be a popular choice on a polytrack form. Number 6, French Flame. I think we'll have to improve on his recent form, but he's in the betting at 4 to 1, and he's having his first run back from the Western Cape, where he had 4 runs there. He didn't show much, but he was racing against some competitive fields. 7, Sundance Kid, I think this is it. It's now or never for me, back on the poly track. But Wendy Whitehead has found another highly competitive field. We mentioned that form line behind I Salute You when I spoke about the 20 to 1 shot African Dusk. So keep an eye on that form line behind I Salute You. I think Sundance Kid will run well. What do you make of Gentleman Joe, first up in the province?
I think it's a prep run. It's a horse that I've followed and I've made some money on. 3 runs back, we went for him when beating Touchdown at 33 to 1. He's a horse who's got the ability, and I think the stable have brought him here for a specific race. I'm not sure which that race is, but I think this will be a pipe opener for him, and I think he'll come on leaps and bounds. He's a big strapping individual. And then Go Grayson, go number 9. I believe the 1,000 was too sharp last time out.
Too short. He'll do better over this type of distance, but he's a horse that likes racing forward, so it has going to be used up from the draw. And Gentleman Joe, versatile, 1,400, 1,600, 1,800, 2,000 meters. Those have been his 4 wins. And keep a close eye on him, because he's a very interesting horse that they've brought down for KZN champion season. So we've given you comments on each runner. All said and done. Let's go. I'm going to go number 5, Zinakele, as a roving banker. 8 to 1.
There we go. So number 5, Zinakele. She absolutely loves the poly track, and it could be her day to shine. And as you heard from Dees, this is going to be the one that he's going to be going along with. Heading along to race number 7, which will be over a trip of 1,200 meters. Hollywoodbets Greyville on the poly track, where number 1 Quintasia is your joint 4-1 favorite, with number 2 Glamours and number 4 Drive By all 4-1. Number 5 Heirloom at 5-1. Copacabana number 6 11-2 at number 9 Pour Some Sugar on Me, and then you can get 16-1 and better the rest. Now, D's last time out, well, in fact, the last few runs, I've been waiting for Quintasia to find a 1,000-meter race. All the meetings been shuffled and everything. When I hadn't opened the book yet, and I saw Quintasia as number 1, and I thought it was 1,000 meters. So I said, this is no race. It's going to jump out and it'll be race over. When I studied the book and I saw it at 1,200, I said we have a small touch, because she is a little bit vulnerable over the 1,200, although she has run well over the distance. 1,000 meters for me is her game. So Mxolisa Mbuto, last time out, he gave her a cracking ride and it almost paid dividends. But number 4 Drive By now gets us the switch to the poly, so that could turn the way turnaround around.
Yeah, last time out was her first win on a turf track, and what a win it was. She came from off the speed. She actually went and fetched Quintasia, and then I would say one going away. She is a poly specialist, 6 of her 7 wins on the surface, 2 of them over the course and distance. She'll be a massive runner here, number 4 Drive By. If you're looking for cover, this horse Glamours, you never forget that Paul Lafferty fancied this filly strongly last time out. No show. I don't know what went wrong, so they're backing her up early. They would have, taken her back to the stable, had a look at what needs to be done, because that was not her form at all. And I'm purely going on the fact that she was very strongly fancied by the yard last time out, so not going to throw away. Number 2, which is Glamours. Then 4 Drive By, we mentioned. 6 Copacabana, only win has been on the poly track, and she's coming down nicely in the ratings. You can see of late, of a 60 and a 59, she's threatening. She's saying hello to her racing fans that have gone for her in the past at big prices, that she could possibly get it right. And then one more runner is number 9, Pour Some Sugar on Me, the stable companion to Copacabana. I think she is looking for the speed to be on. She's not the easiest ride. She'll often give you, issues when the starter says go. But if she manages to jump on terms from that wide gate and they go quick, I personally think she'll be the fastest finisher in this race, and she has won over the course and distance. She's trading at around 5-1. The betting is Quintasia, number 1 at 4-1, 2 Glamours at 4-1, 4 Drive By at 4-1, 5 Heirloom at 5-1, 6 Copacabana at 5-1, and 9 Pour Some Sugar on Me at 5-1. That tells you the story. They're betting 4-1 the field here. If I had to choose a roving banker in the race, Pour Some Sugar on Me, number 9.
Well, there you go. D's will be with number 9, Pour Some Sugar on Me as a roving banker. I'll have to go with number 1, Quintasia again. A horse who I've been following for a while. 1,200 meters is a little bit of an issue, but should be good enough for the top 4, and hopefully runs an absolute cracker. Number 6, Copacabana. For me, that's the dark horse in the race.
Well, we're on to race number 8, which will be the last double at Hollywoodbets Greyville on the poly track on this Wednesday. It's a class 4 over 1,200 meters. Odd time, 15:58. And let's get into the field and some betting. Number 2, Get Off My Cloud at 7-1. Number 4, Sunshine Day at 6-1. Then we got number 6, Avernian Goddess at 9-2. 7, Line in the Sky at 7-1. 8 is Blowing in the Wind at 7-1. 9 is Daphne's Daughter at 5-1, and 10 Ladybug is a 5-1 shot. So that's the field. How many horses here, Sheldon? This Pick 6 and Jackpot and all the exotics, the way we both are reading the card, it looks like it's going to be paying very handsomely on the day. This race, can you narrow it down?
I can narrow it down. I've been waiting for a horse for an eternity. This horse number 4, Sunshine Day. I've been watching it closely. Once upon a time, it was up there to 90. I've been watching closely what they've been doing with the horse, the 1,200 meters. And then last, in the penultimate run, I decided today's the day we have a nice each-way strike. Stayed on for third, so we got the place money. And then last time when they put her back in a mile, I just put a cross through. I said she's not a miler in my book. When they bring her back to a sprint, I'll be with her. They put the blinkers on, they've put the tongue tie on. Blaine Marks Jacobson, 57.5 off the back. Currently trading at 6 and 7 to 1. I think jump and let this one rip. And I believe number 4, Sunshine Day, is going to take all the catching. For me, this is the day that she's going to shine. And then the roughie for me is number 5, RC Lancaster. I just can't put my head around the merit rating though. Stuck on an 86 after being dismal of late. But if you look at the horses that she's taken on and the average rating, there's some form there to go with. But I'm just hoping that she dropped a couple of points in the rating.
Well, that is the key with number 5, RC Lancaster. I can tell you that they've tried to stretch her over 14 and 1600 meters. It has been something that they've wanted to do in order to see if she stays. And the word from the jockeys that have ridden her and the stable is that she doesn't. 1200 meters, blinkers on. She's going to run a big race. They give her a strong each-way chance and a definite top 3 chance. So that's some big talk from the stable. With her back over 1200 meters and at around 10 to 1, she could represent all the value in the world, number 5, RC Lancaster. So 4 Sunshine Day and 5 RC Lancaster, 2 horses that both Sheldon and I like, are both having their first runs on the poly track. But so is the majority of the field. So numbers 4 and 5, we're giving a mention. I have to give a mention to 2 other runners. Number 9, Daphne's Daughter for Justin Snate. Look at some of the horses that have beaten her. Be Merry, that came and ran a bowl race in the Fillies Guineas. Rockapina, who is a very useful sort and highly rated by the stable of Candice Bass Robinson. She was just 2 lengths behind Rockapina. So she's been racing against some very strong company down in the Western Cape. So keep an eye on her at around 5 to 1. And then this horse, Ladybug, she was in excellent form prior to being rested, but she is coming off a break back in November, and she loves racing on the poly track. So if she comes out fresh from draw 10, I think could also make a presence felt here. So it's a tough race, Sheldon, but 10 to 1, RC Lancaster, you're not going to get hurt. And we can play some exactors and swingers with number 4.
There we go. So number 4, Sunshine Day. That's the horse I believe that they all have to beat. And the value, both these now like number 5, RC Lancaster. And let's hope that her rating doesn't catch her out. So numbers 4 and 5 in race number 8. As we head into the final hurdle, race number 9, which is the Hollywoodbets Bright Future Class 4. It's over a distance of 1200 meters. And just having a look, can't see any early scratchings at the time of recording. And race number 9, 1200 meters. Number 1, African Prince, from 8 to 10 down 7 to 10. Second favourite, number 10, Hoper's Power at 8 to 1, along with number 11, McDazzler at 8 to 1. And then it's 10 to 1 about number 3, Master Bling. And just looking at Master Bling, he's going to absolutely enjoy coming back to the poly. He's got a 50% win strike rate on the poly. And then if you're looking for a real lurk at around 20-25 to 1, number 5, Ibuto. If it was an extra furlong, I'd say go, but I think this horse will be in the money. These, when it comes to race number 9, the punters have got to take a stance. And number 1, African Prince from the Justin Snates team for Greg Bortz and Miss Gina Goldsmith. Andrew Fortune jumps aboard. And here's a 3-year-old, Give Me the Green Light, who's run behind All Out for 6, has run behind Golden Destiny, and third behind Dumbledore, who's come out and run some crackers there. So you've got to take a chance. Andrew Fortune, 61.5 from the best of the draw. You either got to go all in, or you got to go start hunting.
Yeah, I think it's a race where if you're running in the exotics and you got a horse, African Dust, that's going first up on the poly track, coming through from the Western Cape, you don't know how well he's doing here in the province. You're going to be a bit nervous if you got this as a banker at the back, but it could work out with Dumbledore coming through to enhance the form line the other day down in the Western Cape. Run of the race from draw 1 takes to the poly, possibly the right horse in the race. But of our locals, there's 2 runners that I'd like to back it up with. Number 3, Master Bling. I agree, the poly track will be the answer to him possibly bouncing back to his better form. And look at the record young Sipasiste Slengwa has with the horse. He's won 5 times, 4 of them have been with this young jockey, so he knows the horse very well. And then Hope is Power will be ridden for luck from the wide draw with Sean Veal up for Hollywood Racing. Been off for, 3 months, and a wide draw to overcome, but another horse that simply loves racing on the surface. So I'm going to go with the 2 locals that got good form on the surface, numbers 3 and 10, to take on the odds-on shot, the visitor, number 1 African Dust. So just 3 horses for me in all bets, 1, 3 and 10.
There we go. Dees is going 1, 3 and 10, and the 7 to 10 favourite is from the Justin Snaith team, which is number 1 African Prince, and Andrew Fortune from the best of the draw jumps onto the poly for the first time, so it'll be very interesting to see how he goes. But he does set the standard on his form lines, and although being a 3-year-old with 61.5 kilograms on his back, he's come to KwaZulu-Natal for a reason. Master Bling loves the poly. And then the Shruti for me, number 5, Ibuto. This is a horse that I've caught right often at 12 to 1, 25 to 1. And I'm not going to let him run loose. I'm going to throw him into all of my calculations and hope for a bit of a result. But number 1, African Prince, certainly does set the scene. And let's see if he's good enough to win. First up on the poly track at Hollywoodbets Greyville.